Hello everybody and welcome to my latest movie review, where today I review Steven Spielberg's latest movie, Disclosure Day, directed by Steven Spielberg, written by David Kemp and Steven Spielberg, starring Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor and Colin Firth. Disclosure Day, I saw the movie twice. I saw it once in standard screening and then I was invited to go and see it again by my best friend who was meant to go with someone else, but that person cancelled. So I got a free ticket to go to the BFI IMAX in London to go and see this movie. So I took the chance to see it again with my best friend. So I just wanted to shout that out because, you know, my best friend is awesome. So thank you to him for offering that, because that was lovely. So Disclosure Day, this movie is an interesting one. It's a sci-fi conspiracy movie. That's the best way to put it. Conspiracy thriller. And the plot of this movie is as follows. If you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you? And like I've just said, it deals with a conspiracy. Basically, there's some data that has been stolen by the data analyst who's called Daniel, and he is on the run with his girlfriend Jane, and they're trying to protect the information until they can disclose it to the public. And Colin Firth is like the leader of this intelligence division, and he wants to get the information back and obviously prosecute the analyst who stole the information. And then there's this news girl played by Emily Blunt called Margaret Fairchild, and some really strange things start happening to her after she encounters a red butterfly. And then it becomes clear that Margaret and Daniel have some kind of connection, and then they kind of have to meet each other and then get to a certain place. And once they do meet and get to this certain place, they have to work together to find out the source of the information and the connection and how it relates to the extraterrestrial life that we discover. So, Disclosure Day. Now, the trailers for this were good. I have to admit, the trailers were good, and it was kind of nice to see Steven Spielberg making another movie. It's been a while since I've last seen a film from him. As for my thoughts on the movie, I think it's good. I genuinely think it's good. I think there are a lot of great things about it, and it has a lot of merit, but I don't think it's perfect. This is not a perfect film. To me, this movie is very basic in its premise. It's an interesting idea with, a conspiracy about, aliens. I mean, it's not really a spoiler to say what the information is about. So it's very predictable as to where this goes. The third act of the movie is pretty predictable. You can see where it's going, and the movie builds up to that for a long time. By the time you get to the end, you're like, yeah, I knew this was going to happen. It was on the cards. So yeah, but I did enjoy the characters, and I did enjoy the thrills and the build up to the end. It is a very thrilling movie, and the kind of journey to the end. It's not the destination so much as the journey. That's what they say, and I think the journey of this film is well done. There are some issues. I think that some of the CGI looks very AI. There's a whole like fantasy vision sequence with this house and this little girl where she's being led by these animals to this other house. It's in the trailer. Those shots look terrible. I'm sorry, Steven, but those shots, I don't like those shots. And the movie's very long. I think being nearly 2.5 hours, it's a little struggle to maintain the momentum, I think. For the most part, it does well, but I think when you get to the second half of it, it starts to slow down a bit. And like I said, the plot is rather basic. I think it does lack depth, I think, at times, and it would have been nice to maybe add a little bit more substance to the story. But I did like the angle of science versus religion, because one of the main characters, named Jane, she's a nun, and I think that really adds a different perspective on the whole situation. And I really wish the movie had delved more into that argument between science and religion, because I think that would have added a lot of depth to what to me is quite a basic premise of like, the performances are top notch. I mean, you can't go wrong with a cast like this. You've got Josh O'Connor as Daniel. He is very good. I really like his performance, and he's doing his best to protect the information and then distribute it, because he believes that the world has been wrongly hidden from this, and it's his duty to tell everybody about this, so that why shouldn't they know? The government have kept this from them, because what if the aliens do surface? We need to be prepared for that. And his girlfriend Jane, played by Hewson, she's very good. There's a very interesting scene where she talks to Colin Firth. He has this kind of alien device that he holds, and he's able to project himself into the room and almost mind control her and speak to her. It's very kind of intense, really. Although there is a section of the movie where Jane does kind of disappear, like she goes into hiding and she has to separate from Daniel. Like, not romantically, like they are romantically together, but physically they have to separate to keep themselves safe. And she's part of this convent. She was a nun, and they take refuge in her old kind of, yeah, her old church, which is interesting. I just would have liked to have known more about that story. Colin Firth as Noah Scanlon. Colin Firth is one of my favourite performances in this film. The guy is just so desperately trying to keep the information contained and to catch the people that have stolen this data. You know, he's not necessarily a villain. I mean, he does bad things, but he's not entirely evil. So I like that. And there is some personal dimension to his character. We do get a little bit of insight into his wife midway through the movie. Colman Domingo, who you may remember from Wicked for Good, he is Hugo Wakefield. He is very much on the side of the analysts, and he really believes that they can cut to the root of this connection with Daniel and Margaret. And I like his inclusion. And again, there's a lot of moral ethics discussed in this movie, and I think that's the strong point. Wyatt Russell as Jackson. He's the boyfriend of Margaret. He has a very brief role, but when I saw this movie the second time, he actually got quite a lot of laughs, which was surprising. Emily Blunt as Margaret Fairchild. For me, she's one of the best performances of this movie. She gives such a strong performance, as like her character is this confident weather girl. She really loves her job. She loves what she does, although she's very uncertain about where she's living. And then she has that encounter, and then she starts changing. Her whole mental state is changing, and she's able to communicate in this alien language. And the reason as to why that is quite interesting. But as the journey of the film goes on, for me, her character had the most interesting journey, the way she just completely fell apart. And there's a one point where she has this panic attack, and it's so real. I felt that, and I thought Emily Blunt conveyed that super, super well. There's also a really exciting train sequence that happens where a car gets sort of destroyed on a train track, and her and Daniel have to get onto the train. I think it's really, really, really good. And again, Emily Blunt's character, she's probably the one that has the most emotional depth. She's the emotional heart of this movie. I will say, though, the alien design I'm not a fan of. I think it's very basic. It is what you expect it to be. This movie, to me, is very much meat and potatoes. It's sort of simple, straightforward. You kind of know what you're going to get. You kind of know how it looks. You kind of know where it leads. But I think the most interesting parts were the first 2/3 of it. It's the last third that kind of lets it down for me. It's just like, I could have seen that from the beginning. Like, I would have liked the movie to surprise me. I think, build up to the story one way, then flip it on its head towards the end. And I just think that it's a very safe movie in that regard. I think it's too safe. I think the movie needed to take more risks. And Spielberg has taken more risks in the past. So that's what I would suggest. But overall, it's a solid movie, and it's a great experience. I definitely recommend it in IMAX. I think it's a great movie to watch in IMAX. It is long, it's kind of draggy, but it is interesting, and I think that it's worth a watch. If you like thriller, if you like sci-fi, this is the movie for you. My rating for this movie is going to be an 8 out of 10. So thank you very much all for watching. What did you think of Disclosure Day? Please comment down below. Let me know. And stay tuned for more reviews in the future. So until next time, I'm Pajak's Perspective. See ya. Bye for now.